Speaking frankly for a little moment about what I'm trying to get across. In most presentations of some sort, whether about projects, you see these glitzy, Hollywood presented movie type glossy posters, and it really is confusing just as much as the text written by a computer is confusing, because there's no real character to it. There's no individuality about it. You're not recognizing it to a person. So realistically, you can fake it. And that's what came to mind after one guy mentioned to me that all the words I say make sense, except it sounds like gobbledygook when put together. I've been thinking about that for a while, and it's unnerving me a little bit because he's right in one sense. I understand what he's getting at. And I've basically been able to jump with my mind from different definition to different definition. I'll use an example of gate. If you talk to a farmer about a gate, what he pictures in his mind is different than what a computer scientist pictures in his mind as a gate, or a water bailiff when he thinks of a gate. So we have to consider what the definition is. And I've been able to look at dictionary definitions, and I find them contradictory to a large extent. So I realise that cultural differences and language differences are going to cause confusion. I'm doing my best to get these concepts across in a way that someone can benefit from them, because I feel that hidden in all the confusion, the chaos around us, which a lot of times manifests itself as war and violence, that frustration has got to be cut through, not with violence, but with mental clarity, to identify what we want and are intending to do, and respectfully treat and handle situations we're in. So just on that note, this model looks rough to me. I don't like how rough I've got it. I'm used to be more of a perfectionist than that shows that I am. Not that I like perfectionism. I see a place for it. I see it as a frustrating state of mind, and I've had to force myself to be comfortable with second-rate quality from myself, particularly with my drafting, but even now as I shake. Anyway, getting to the point of what I'm saying with the motor at the present moment. The sun coming from one side comes in through a yearly cycle from the sun, and the planet is a daily cycle. So those two cycles or circles or disks are one side. They're also repeated in the opposite order going out of the device. And the splitting of the atom, or the molecule providing the energy, the water, you provide oxygen from one aspect of it. They're already doing that in the submarines in the US Navy, I'm sure of that. Seen that written quite publicly and recognisably. And the equipment they use is really good. They can reuse it in something like what I'm talking about here. But the configuration of this device, the systems, are important. They have to be held in balance and be always compared from one side of the circle or cycle to the other side. So in that vein, you see that what I call the inner core with it. I'll go to it. This is the inner core. That's a distributor cap. There's one at the bottom. That's in a sump. This is in the header of the device. The head is basically an aerial. The sump is an aerial as well, but it's more likely to be in a heavier state of energy. So considering those thoughts in mind, you go in through the clutch, which is what these discs are, the day and the year cycle. You go into the centre, where it crosses over and exchanges energy and comes out changed, but with a different purpose. And at that point, it goes through the absolute 0 point. And so the upper clutch is like the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, where the sun goes to at one extreme, and the bottom is the other extreme in balance. And they have to be compared from one side of the cycle to the other. I hope I'm making some sense. It's frustrating to me not being able to get to feedback. Feedback can be confusing.